Hi, good morning, and welcome back to Dollar Tree Dinners, the cooking show where I use Dollar Tree ingredients, and sometimes I know what I'm doing and other times I'm just winging it. Today is going to be the latter. I went to Dollar Tree yesterday to do a little bit of shopping, just see if they had anything new, and I stumbled across crab meat. It is a little pouch of imitation crab meat, and it's shelf stable, packed in a brine. It was over with the canned tuna, and I bought a few of these. And then as I stumbled across this, I thought to myself that I had just passed seaweed at some point, and I did. I found this Gimme Organic seaweed pouch, sea salt flavor, and so I realized that I now have access to the majority of ingredients I need to make a sushi bake with Dollar Tree ingredients. I know that that sentence does not seem like it should go together, but it does, and that's what we're gonna do today. So first of all, what is a sushi bake? Well, it's essentially a deconstructed sushi roll for people to have a little bit easier access to maybe their favorite food. I have actually made real sushi before. I'm no master at it by any degree. Now, in the past couple of years or so, there has been this kind of casserole, for lack of a better term, version of sushi that's been circulating around the internet, where you essentially layer cooked rice with crab or tuna, some kind of a spicy mayo, and then sometimes people put like sesame seeds or something on top to kind of mimic the crunch of sushi, and then you typically eat it with seaweed, kind of like a taco. So that is essentially what we're going to be making today, and I'm actually really excited to try it, and hopefully it works out. And so let's just jump right in. So the base of the sushi bake is rice, and of course you can go through and cook your own rice. Dollar Tree sells white rice and brown rice, but for the sake of ease, I'm going to be using some pre-cooked rice. This is long grain white rice. All you have to do is kind of knead the package, break up any like big clumps of rice, and then you're supposed to tear it open about an inch and microwave it for 90 seconds. I'm not gonna heat this up quite yet. I'm gonna set it aside. We're gonna work on the crab first. So here is our imitation crab meat. As I mentioned, this is in a brine and it is shelf stable. So let's go ahead and open this up and see what it looks like. And I'm probably gonna have to drain off some of this liquid. I just wanna kind of see how it looks straight out of the package. And so this is what it looks like. It is kind of chunks. Does seem quite flaky. It has a bit of a tuna kind of smell to it, but otherwise it does look pretty good. So I'm going to drain this. I'm going to rinse it to try to get rid of some of that brininess, and then we will get right back. So for dressing up our crab, we need some cream cheese. I have some Dollar Tree. This is their cream cheese blend. It's essentially just cream cheese, but then it's got oils and emulsifiers, and I assume that there are to extend the shelf life of the product. I'm not really quite sure. This is all they sell. They don't sell just a small block of like regular cream cheese. We are also going to need some mayo. This is the teensy tiny jar you can buy at Dollar Tree. So now as far as sriracha goes, we don't have a lot of options at Dollar Tree. They do have a few selection of kind of hot sauces, but none of them are going to be in the same realm as sriracha. So I went ahead, I got some Louisiana hot sauce, I've got some Frank's buffalo sauce, and I've got some spicy ketchup. All three were purchased at Dollar Tree. And then from my research online, it sounds like the spicy ketchup is going to be the most identical to sriracha. Obviously it is not sriracha, but it should still kind of get us that same kind of twang that sriracha has in a sense. So far on this channel, I've never really showed an up close of this Dollar Tree cream cheese blend. And there is a reason, well, not really a reason, but there is something that I want to share specific to this type of cream cheese. Obviously, not many people would be using this. I am just using it because I only use Dollar Tree ingredients. But what it is about this is that it is a little bit more like a feta cheese texture than it is a cream cheese texture. Like if I were to break this apart, you can kind of see that it is kind of crumbly almost in texture, not really quite smooth and pliable like your standard cream cheese. So I think that that can be a little off-putting sometimes for some people, but when you warm this up for a couple seconds in the microwave, it does smooth out totally fine. And as far as flavor goes, it does taste a little bit like cream cheese and feta cheese had a baby, so it's actually pretty good. So what I'm going to do here, I don't have a lot of crab, so I'm going to take about an ounce of my cream cheese on a knife here. And I'm going to plop that in a bowl. And I'm going to microwave this for about 15 seconds just to get it pliable. Now that our cream cheese is softened up, I'm just gonna mix that up a smidge with my spatula here. Now we have our Kraft mayonnaise, and I am gonna add in a spoonful of that, maybe about a tablespoon. I keep debating back and forth whether to use the spicy ketchup or just my Frank's buffalo sauce. I do think the buffalo sauce is going to be a little bit too much on the vinegary side, and that's why it's said to use spicy ketchup if you can't get sriracha. So I think I'm going to use the spicy ketchup because it was on the list as like number 2 as far as the sriracha substitute goes. And I am just going to add in probably about a tablespoon of that as well. And I'm gonna go ahead and taste it before I add my crab because the crab is more valuable than the cream cheese. I can always restart that if I don't like the result. I am of course trying to be a little bit more sparing with the crab, so let's try this and see how it is. It does taste a little bit like ketchup to me, just like ketchup and mayonnaise mixed together. The kind of spicy isn't really coming through. So I think I'm gonna make a second batch with the Frank's Red Hot, and we're gonna see how that compares. All right, so here is my second bowl with a second like little serving of cream cheese, same as before. And I microwave that to soften it up. And just like before, I'm gonna add in a spoonful of mayonnaise. And then of course this time we're gonna be using the Frank's buffalo sauce. And we're gonna see how that one turns out. All right, time to taste test the buffalo version. That is much better. It doesn't really have that kind of ketchup-y taste to it. So I think I prefer the buffalo to the ketchup version as far as Dollar Tree ingredients goes. It's not the same as sriracha, but it's not far off either. That actually makes me really happy that I didn't just kind of trust the internet's judgment on that and I tried it myself, because otherwise I don't think I would have used the buffalo sauce. I'm glad that I did both to compare. But I'm gonna go ahead and shred in my crab. I should have tried the crab by itself too, but that's okay. And we're gonna give that all a mix together. And in my case, it might be a little bit heavy on the sauce because I'm trying to adjust down some of the recipes that call for a much larger portion of crab than I have here. But that's okay because I always like things a little bit more on the saucy side anyways, especially when I go to a sushi restaurant. The spicy mayo is like my favorite thing. Now that our crab is prepared, we can go ahead and assemble our sushi bake. Now we can go ahead and heat up our rice. So I'm gonna open this about 1 inch and I'm gonna microwave it for 90 seconds. I've got myself a little casserole dish here. I don't need to spray this or anything. We're just gonna go ahead and plop in our rice. Now, of course, you can season up this rice if you wanted to, kind of make it sushi style, toss it in some vinegar and some sugar and a little bit of salt. I'm just gonna use it as is because I try to keep the ingredients really minimal. And we're gonna go ahead and just press that down into the bottom of our dish. And we are going to top it with our crab mixture. And spread that all across the top of our rice. All right, so we are gonna toss this in a 400-degree oven for about 15 minutes. I'm actually gonna do this in my toaster oven because whenever I'm using a small casserole dish like this, I might as well just use my small little mini oven. But yeah, 400 degrees, 15 minutes, and I will be right back. While our sushi bake is cooking in the oven, we're gonna whip up a second batch of spicy mayo for drizzling on the top. And you want this one to be slightly darker in color than the spicy mayo that's in with the crab mixture. So you're not going to be using cream cheese in this. It's just going to be a 1-to-1 mixture of buffalo sauce to mayonnaise. And then we're just going to set that aside and wait. There is our sushi bake out of the oven. This smells pretty fantastic. I'm going to make it look pretty, take a couple pictures, and then we are going to give it a taste. Let's see. We're going to start by giving it a drizzle of just some spicy mayo. Again, this is more so for presentation. It's nice thin lines. And then for contrast, I'm going to do the same, but just with straight buffalo sauce. There she is in all her glory. I think she looks beautiful, but the real question is, how does it taste? So we're gonna pop open our little seaweeds. So these were sold individually at the Dollar Tree that I went to get this. And so I'm gonna pull one of these out. I'm not sure how many this comes with. Let me count real quick. I'm just curious as to how many little sheets of seaweed you get out of this. 9, 10. So you could potentially have like 10 little sushi boats essentially, which I think is a really good serving for a single person. And then I am going to grab my little seaweed wrapper here, and I'm gonna grab a good hunk of my crab and rice mixture, and I'm just gonna plop it right on top there. And now let's try it. One of my favorite things personally about sushi bakes versus rolled sushi is that the nori or the seaweed is always crisp because you're kind of eating it fresh. It does soften up from the heat of the rice and stuff like that, but otherwise it retains its crispiness really well, especially if you kind of scoop and go. But are you guys ready? Let's try it. This is actually pretty good. And I'm gonna say pretty good for a couple of reasons. I'm gonna grab another little handful. I'm gonna eat this one kind of fresh so that the nori is nice and crisp, and then I will give you my final thoughts. So final thoughts on my Dollar Tree sushi bake is that it is good, but it is not great. It is passable. First and foremost being that we're not really truly using authentic ingredients. We're not using Japanese mayo, we're not using sriracha, we're using kind of American substitutions, and some of those American substitutions aren't really quite the same. For example, in this case, it's mostly the buffalo sauce that comes through a little bit, and it's not bad. It's definitely not bad. It just kind of makes it taste like if crab were buffalo chicken dip, essentially. I mean, we do have a lot of the flavors of buffalo chicken dip in here, and then if you were to substitute the chicken with crab, that's essentially what it tastes like. And then you're kind of mixing that with rice and seaweed, so it's just a little bit of a different flavor profile than I'm particularly used to. But for it being a Dollar Tree sushi bake, it is really good. I mean, you're taking into account the fact that we're using Dollar Tree ingredients, which you already have kind of a limited inventory to work there. And then on top of that, we're trying to make a cultural dish with very limited ingredients. So it's not quite the same, but it is passable and it is good. So if you were kind of craving sushi, this would kind of fit the bill. It would hit the spot. It's only a few dollars worth of ingredients. So honestly, it's a win for me in the regards that no, it is not like eating sushi. It is not like eating a normal sushi bake, but it does kind of scratch that itch. And one last thing that I want to mention is specific to the crab, because it was packed in a brine. It does have a kind of briny taste to it, so kind of like a saltwater taste to it. I mean, that's what a brine is. So even though I rinsed it, that residual salty taste is still there, and it's not bad. In this kind of a dish, it works. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, my Dollar Tree sushi bake. I had a lot of fun making it. So I have a couple of other crab themed recipes lined up that I really want to try. I have 4 bags of crab. I'm now down to 3 bags. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you again soon.